Netanyahu's vacation has been canceled, and hospitals in Israel have been ordered to prepare for an emergency. Everyone, Johnny here, don't speak news. Well, this is news that everyone will be speaking about soon. So here we go. With all the activities undertaken yesterday by Israel and the United States, removing military dependents, evacuating diplomats by helicopter, and placing U.S. bases in the Middle East, Eastern Europe, and North Africa on highest alert, more developments today seem to prove Israel is about to attack Iran and cause a massive regional war. This morning, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu canceled his planned vacation in the north. Hospitals in central Israel have been officially warned to prepare for an emergency. Citizens throughout Israel have been given a heads up that Homefront command orders will change tonight at 6 p.m. The U.S. Embassy spokesperson in Baghdad confirmed this morning the evacuation of our citizens is not voluntary, but rather a mandatory departure by official order. The departure is immediate, and we will not reveal the number of departing employees for security reasons. A big signal that real trouble is coming soon just hit. The U.S. State Department has canceled its daily press briefing for today. Right here. Now, the reason that's a big deal is that they only do this when they know a gigantic news event is coming, and they won't have the details in time to brief the press. This, right here, is very revealing. Israeli media reports that the Security Cabinet will convene today at 8 p.m. to discuss the ongoing security threat of the Iranian regime achieving nuclear weapons. Yeah, they've been squawking about that since 1992, at least Netanyahu has. Those participating in the cabinet meeting were told to prepare for a long meeting into the night, signal that the Iranian attack may be ongoing at that time. Two Israeli strike scenarios exist for Iran, according to ex-IDF Intel Chief Heyman. A limited strike to destroy two large enrichment facilities, Natanz and Fordow, or a broad assault to destroy all known nuclear sites plus Iranian military assets. Dozens of targets in total. A full-scale assault will surely trigger an Israel-Iran war, he says. Then in nearby Iraq, the Iraqi media outlet Shafaq reports that the Iraqi Resistance Coordination Committee, an alliance of pro-Iran armed factions in Iraq, is holding a meeting in the coming hours. A source familiar with the meeting stated it was an important meeting, that it will include most of the armed factions of Iraq. The purpose of the meeting is reportedly to determine the role of the factions in a war if it breaks out. The Iranian-backed factions have agreed to take a direct role in any war against Iran, whether it comes from the United States or Israel. Very much more is also going on, and this article will be updated in the coming hours with further information. And Hal says, prep yourselves, as we always say here, prayed up and prepped up at all times. Anyone who thinks that this will not somehow involve the U.S. mainland once it kicks off is delusional. Iran knows full well that the U.S. is at very least helping Israel with highly specific intel. Once Iran pulls out the stops over there, you can bet your bottom dollar there will be cyber attacks and sleeper cells involved here. If there are sleeper cells, and surely there are thanks to the Democratic Party opening the borders during Biden's 4 years, then when else would Iran release them other than this? I would tend to agree with that. Another thing I believe is highly possible during the military parade scheduled for the day after tomorrow, which now I see might be canceled. I'm now thinking it was planned knowing that this was the likely possibility of any talks with Iran. It coincides perfectly with Trump's 2-month deadline for Iran nuclear negotiations. What a better way to get tons of armament, men, and support equipment into staging areas around our nation's capital than this. Time seems to be up. For what it's worth, tomorrow's Friday the 13th. Yeah, indeed it is. Indeed it is. And to go along with that, we have this news from my Telegram account. Iran is preparing to flatten Israel, it says, with thousands of ballistic missiles. This is from the New York Times. Iranian military and government officials have already met to discuss their response to a potential strike by Israel. The plans are involving an immediate counterstrike on Israel utilizing thousands of long-range ballistic missiles. And in this report, Iran has fully released documents revealing that the IAEA chief, Grossi, has been fully coordinated with Israel and acting on its orders. The documents are part of those that Iran managed to take out of Israel the other day. Yes, that we talked about briefly yesterday. These are the documents here, and it shows the UN working with Israel, the Atomic Energy Agency at the UN, the International Atomic Energy Agency, working directly with the Israeli intelligence agencies. So Iran has proof that all of this compliance that they've had to, show to everyone that they're complying with the nuclear program that was set up for them. Well, it's all a farce because the IAEA, the International Atomic Energy Agency, is working directly with Israel, fully coordinated and acting on its orders. So this whole thing's been a sham for a long time, like I've been telling you. Iran already has nuclear weapons. They already have what they call secret weapons. We've talked about that a couple months ago. They did themselves. They talked about they don't have a need for nukes anymore because they have weapons that are greater than that. And we're about to see them, I'm sure. And so right here it says at the Board of Governors meeting in Vienna, the IAEA officially declared Iran in non-compliance with its nuclear commitments, as per order by Israel, as I just showed you. The resolution was supported by the United States, of course, and the E3, which includes France, Germany, and the UK, with 19 countries voting in its favor. Russia, China, and Burkina Faso voted against it, and 11 countries abstained, including South Africa, India, Pakistan, Egypt, Indonesia, and Brazil. Here's more of that, the Israeli documents that have been published by Iran and the Fars News Agency, showing extensive communication between Rafael Grossi, the current Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, and Israeli individuals. And so I'm going to keep scrolling here. We'll cover some of this later today, hopefully, God willing. Here's the tweet that came out about the parade. Exclusive, Times birthday parade may be canceled over thunderstorms. Army spokesperson tells the Times of safety fears as President hopes to mark 250 years of the U.S. military with an event in Washington on Saturday, which may be canceled now, they're saying, because of thunderstorms. And we'll see how that works out. Also, I was from Hal Turner as well, from his covert intel, I was getting reports that Iran is considering a preemptive strike against Israel and the U.S., on their bases throughout the region. Since they already know that Israel and the U.S. are preparing for an Iranian retaliatory strike, which of course means that Israel and or the United States intend to strike Iran. Otherwise, why would you have to plan for and prepare for a retaliatory strike on Iran if you weren't planning to attack them in the first place? So the thinking of Iran is, why wait for the inevitable to happen? Let's strike Israel and the U.S. now. Well, we'll see what happens. But that has been discussed at least, and the plans have been made. If they're actually going to do that or not remains to be seen. Then we have anti-migrant protests in Northern Ireland going on for a third day, as protesters are throwing rocks, firecrackers, and Molotov cocktails at police. And this is all because migrants raped an underage girl. So who can blame them for being upset about that? Anyway, lots going on today. Like I say, I hope to cover more of it here later today. But to start with, I had to get this covered. So there you go, guys. Like we always say, prayed up and prepped up at all times because there's so much going on all at once. And I'm not even covering any of the earthquakes and volcanoes and storms and floods and everything else going on, right? So don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com is home base for everything that we do. I put stories here that we can't speak about anywhere else, over 2,500 of them now. And so if you'd like to support us, we're listener supported only. Click on the channel support tab, and the ways to support us are all listed right here. And we thank you very much for that. Without you guys, we wouldn't stick around. I also want to thank you most of all for the prayers that you've been sending. And the reason I say that is because, once again, God has proved he's the best car mechanic in the world, and he's also the cheapest because there's no charge. My car has just been running great here recently, when it wasn't here about a week or so ago, week and a half ago. And so just like with an electrical problem I had with it about 6 or 8 months ago, I took it in, and God said it'll be the cheapest bill you ever had, and it was, because there was no charge. They couldn't find a problem. Same thing with this issue now with the starting problem, not firing. All of a sudden it's firing right up, running on all cylinders just fine. So thank you very, very much for your prayers. The power of prayer is, well, it's as effective as it gets. It's 100% effective. So thank you very much for that. Now we got to figure out what's wrong with my wife's car, and that'll happen soon. All right, if you'd like to subscribe or contact me, click on the subscribe tab here. Type in your email, click on subscribe, and you're in. This is also at the bottom of every article, and as you're reading an article, you'll get one pop-up with the opportunity to subscribe if you wish. Also, Don't Speak News at Proton Mail is the way to contact me. And to find us on Rumble, BitChute, Telegram, and YouTube, click on this tab, and all the links to find us around the interwebs are right there. And that will be it for now. Prayed up and prepped up, guys, at all times. Things could turn wild weasel at any minute. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.